It's interesting you say he's popular in the media, and from what I can see, he's been non-stop going on podcasts, and he's been, unveiling different accents every time he's been going on podcasts, and he's trying to win over as many people as he can, clearly. But Stephen A. Smith has slammed Gavin Newsom for not going on his show. He's also called out other Democrats for failing to front her.
Oh, look, I mean, there is a certain sense of entitlement to these podcasters nowadays that have a big reach. They just think they can demand anyone comes on. It is a democracy. People are welcome to go on and off shows if they don't want to. And he's had plenty of Democrats on his show. So I'm not sure he should be being quite so demanding and precious.
Okay. Well, let's just take a listen. We've got the soundbite here.
Jasmine Crockett has been on this air, or invited on this show for 4 months. AOC has been invited on this show for 4 months. Gavin Newsom has been invited on this show for longer than that. Props to Hakeem Jeffries. He's a friend of the show, always welcome on here. I like that man. I respect him. Chuck Schumer's been invited on this show, hasn't shown up. Where they at? Every single Republican I have asked to show up on this show has either said yes or that they're coming. Not the Dems. Why?
Yeah, Stephen, he's really calling them out there, and he listed some names, AOC being one of them. That's certainly another name that's being mentioned when you're looking at 2028, a potential presidential run. AOC, Kamala Harris, Gavin Newsom. What are your thoughts on AOC? Is she underestimated?
Look, I think she's done a great job in helping revitalise the Democrats in New York. And you can see that by the mayoral victory that the Democrats have just had, and she strongly backed the new mayor. But again, I don't think she can appeal to those 6 swing states. I mean, the Democrats have to be ruthlessly smart here. AOC works in New York, but does not work in Pennsylvania, Georgia. I mean, I think if you look at the other successful Democrat candidates, and all of those successes in the last few weeks, they've all been centrists, all been moderates, not people who want to hear the word democratic socialist, will never utter those words and reject the philosophical position. So the Democrats can look at 6 or 7 other very successful candidates and see the path to victory through moderate centrist Democrats, not people who are happy to describe them as democratic socialists.
Let's talk about Donald Trump. An issue for him at the moment is no doubt the economy. He's pledged that prices will come down in a speech to owners, operators and suppliers of McDonald's. Now, of course, concerns over his handling of the economy and cost of living have been growing. Donald Trump claims that prices are coming down. But Stephen, talk to us about how critical this is for Trump. He's, of course, been extraordinary on the world stage, but this is a key issue.
Yeah, Americans aren't enjoying him being extraordinary on the world stage. They're interested in what is on their kitchen table to eat. And Donald Trump is now starting to move into the fantasy land, what he criticised Biden for, by making claims that just aren't the lived experience. I mean, let's take McDonald's. Trump is absolutely being hammered by American beef producers because he's allowing Argentinian beef in and another sop to his mate in Argentina so that he can help prop up beef farmers in Argentina at the expense of American beef farmers. So what he's doing there is not driving the price of American beef down, he's decimating the industry. So it is very dangerous for any politician to say they're going to reduce prices. The lived experience of Americans right now is that prices are not coming down and are not going to come down. Even his claimed Walmart Christmas hamper, he deliberately misrepresents, saying, oh, it's down 13% or whatever the percent was from last year. The problem is Walmart have reduced the contents by nearly half. So he's not comparing the same basket. Now, last year's basket had 28 products in. This year's basket has 15 products in, and he's pretending that that's a reduction in prices. And that's one of the reasons he's getting hammered in the polls. Too much time trying to get the Nobel Peace Prize and saving the world from all these wars that he hasn't. And not
Well, I'll have to pick you up on that one.
table.
I mean, we've got to give him credit for doing that. I mean, achieving peace in the Middle East, ending so many conflicts around the world. It's a good thing for the globe that he has been putting his focus on that.
Well, if it was real, I mean, I didn't know there were 7 wars going on in the world. I'm not quite sure solving in Azerbaijan.
What about Middle East? Is that real? Is the ceasefire real?
We all want it to be real. Hamas are not disarmed. We want Trump to be successful in the Middle East. I completely agree with you. Whether it's going to actually happen, nobody's agreed to put a peacekeeping force in there. Not the UAE, not the moderate Arab states. There is no commitment yet to police the ceasefire, which is critically important. Hamas have still not and will not disarm.
Well, that's what happens when you deal with terrorists.
Yeah,
I mean, look at what he's been able to achieve
true.
compared to Kamala Harris. No, I do take your point, and you're right that Trump, I suppose, he's kind of losing the American people here when it comes to the economy.
Totally. He needs to get focused on prices. And his other problem is all his tariffs. Tariffs put prices up. He likes to pretend that tariffs are paid for by the countries who the goods are coming from. This is just a lie, a barefaced lie. As the
I think
Supreme
there's
Court
a bit of art of the deal
themselves-
in that. I think there's a bit of art of the deal in that. He's getting rid of some tariffs.
When you put up, well, he's desperate now because he's now come to understand or stopped pretending that tariffs aren't a tax being paid by the American people. So, yeah, he's starting to take some tariffs out, but only because people are starting to work out that tariffs are taxes and they put the price of goods up. So he's getting caught out in his own lies here, and it's starting to bite him.
Well, look, what are your thoughts on Trump welcoming Saudi's Crown Prince to the White House? There was a ceremony today involving a military flyover, and Saudi's Crown Prince announced that Saudi will be investing $1 trillion into the US. Here's Donald Trump.
You know, when you invest $1 trillion, that's national security for us, too, because it creates jobs, it creates a lot of things. And I would say, Scott, right, when you hear one country's putting $1 trillion into the United States, that creates national security. And, you know, I think that they don't have to say that, but I think a big part of that is also the fact that tariffs are in play. But even beyond tariffs, that's a real ally that will do that. Creates a lot of power for the United States.
Stephen, $1 trillion. I mean, that's an extraordinary investment.
Well, look, I hope that is true. I hope that $1 trillion, there's no time frame on it, but I hope that, you know, for the sake of the American public and jobs in America, that is true. I'm just not quite prepared to believe every word that comes from Donald Trump's lips. I mean, look what the UK did. They packaged together a series of announcements that they were already going to make, bundled it up, and Keir Starmer goes, here's billions of dollars investment in the US. These are decisions that were already going to be made. They had nothing to do with Donald Trump. They just put them in a nice shiny box with a bow on top and pretended they were actually adding extra investment. So I hope that for the sake of the American public that is true, but there's a lot of games and numbers being tossed around that don't always actually turn up in the end.
Well, he's a deal maker. I think he's the ultimate deal maker. There's no one like him on the world stage. Finally, this is to do with Australia. Australia's e-safety commissioner has been called to appear before the US Congress to give evidence into how Australian laws threaten the free speech of Americans. So Sky News has exclusively obtained this letter signed by US House of Representatives Committee on the Judiciary Chairman Jim Jordan, in which he accuses the e-safety commissioner Julie Inman-Grant of being a zealot for global takedowns. The letter claims that the Online Safety Act directly threatens American speech. Stephen, that there are big concerns when it comes to censorship and the Online Safety Act here, not just here in Australia, but over in America too.
Look, it's almost hard to know where to start on this drivel. The proposal by the Albanese government, championed by the Safety Commissioner, championed by Anthony Albanese and Annika Wells, and good on them for this. We are not making them do a global takedown of any speech. What we're saying is we're exercising our sovereign rights to decide for ourselves what we want to see and what our kids want to see. And that is a sovereign right. This arrogance of Jim Jordan, where he thinks he can dictate to Australia what it is, what laws we're allowed to have, has to be resisted at all costs. The fact that he is a flunky for the big tech, which is so powerful now that they all turned up, they all paid for the new ballroom that's bigger than the White House. They all donated their money. So, the American politicians have got to be in the pockets of big tech, doing their bidding. This is an absurd demand. It has no valid jurisdiction, and Australia is not doing what Jim Jordan keeps trying to claim. Australia can determine what Australia sovereign rights allow it to, and that is this proposal championed by the E-Security Commissioner.
In my view, it's a slippery slope. I think there are plenty of genuine and valid concerns when it comes to censorship and control of what we're able to see online. But Stephen Conroy, we have to leave it there. Thank you so much for joining us.
Good to talk to you again.